You think your brand problem is messaging, right? It's not. Your brand sounds generic because you keep leading with what you do instead of the moment that explains why it matters. And that's the real problem. And I learned that in a way I did not expect. My first real estate flip was the worst house in the city. That's not me being dramatic. This house has been sitting there for years, deteriorating, neglected, an eyesore, lots more than I'm not going to go into. And it was the kind of house people drove past and assumed would stay that way forever. Then I bought it, started the renovation, and on day 2, the neighbors came outside and hugged us. I had not felt anything like that in 20 plus years of making television. And that surprised me because I love television. I still do. I love the work. I love the story. I love the business. I love the privilege of spending 2 decades helping create things people could not look away from. That work mattered. It really did. But something about day 2 on that house, it hit different. Hit a different part of me than anything I had felt in Hollywood. And I remember thinking hard on that drive home, why did that hit me so hard? Why did it feel so different? I had spent more than 20 years making shows watched by millions. I still do. Shows that move people, shows that told true stories, shows that had real impact. You know what I've been involved in. You know this to be true. And somehow 2 days into renovating the worst house in the city made me feel something I could not quite replicate in all those years of television. Why? Here's what I landed on. In television, the impact's real, but most of the time it's invisible to you. You are in a building, in an edit bay, in a conference room, looking at a monitor with a bunch of other people looking at monitors. You're shaping the story, making the decisions, trying to build something great, but the audience, you're out there somewhere. The response is a rating, a note, a number, a call, many times silence. And you hope it landed. Day 2 on that house was different. The impact was standing right there. You could see it in the neighbors' faces. A real community had been waiting for somebody to care enough to show up. And we showed up. That is what hit me. Not the drywall, not the demo, not the paint, because I kind of don't do any of that. My team does. But it was the meaning. The fact that the work changed how people felt immediately. That's not a credential. That's a reason. And that's exactly why I'm telling you this in the context of branding, because most people build their brand around the what. What you do, what you sell, what your service is, what your offer is, what your deliverable is. And yes, all of that matters. The what matters. People need to know what you do, but the what is not what makes you unforgettable. The what is the category. The reason is the magnet. The reason is what makes people lean in, not the fake why, not the polished I'm passionate about helping people line, not the LinkedIn version, but the real version, that lived reason, the one that comes from an actual moment you experienced, the moment that changed how you saw the work, the moment that told you this is bigger than the transaction. For me, one of those moments was day 2 on that house. The neighbors came outside and hugged us. That is not some branding trip. That happened. And it revealed something to me. This was never just about flipping a house. It was about restoring something people had given up on. It was about changing how a street felt. It was about visible work creating visible hope. That is different. And when you can put language around something like that, people stop comparing you the same way. Because now you're not just another person offering a service. Now there's a reason underneath the work. That is the difference between a generic brand and a brand people remember. A generic brand tells me what they do. A powerful brand helps me feel why they care. That is what I help people uncover. Not a slogan, not a cute one-liner, the real reason underneath the work. the thing that makes you impossible to compare. And I have seen this happen over and over and over again. Somebody starts by telling me what they do. I help people with this. I specialize in that. I've been doing this for 15 years. Okay, great. That's information. But then we get to the real story, that real moment, the real reason. And suddenly, when that happens, everything changes. When that happens, now I understand them. Now I remember them. Now I can feel why their work matters to them. That's where their only lives. I think about a guy named Kirk Hansen, real estate broker in Charlotte, also a race car driver, not for fun, actual race cars. And when we worked on his only statement, we did not build it around transaction volume or years of experience. We built it around what racing taught him. How to read a situation at speed, how to make a decision when you have half a second, how to stay calm when one wrong move changes everything. Then we connected that to how he shows up in real estate. And that is where the power was, not in what he does, in who he changes, who he is, in how who he is changes how he does it. That's the reason. That's the thing that makes somebody harder to compare. And that's what most people are missing, because you're trying to win on credentials. You're trying to win on features. You're trying to win on volume. You're trying to win on sounding polished. Meanwhile, the thing that would actually separate you is hiding in a story you've barely thought about. It's a moment you lived, a scar you earned, a turning point you cannot stop thinking about. That's the stuff that matters. Because a credential can be copied, but a reason cannot. That is why the worst house in the city still stays with me. That house, eventually bought by a homeowner, did not think they would ever be able to afford a home. Think about that sometimes. Actually a lot, but not like a trophy, like a reminder that the work people remember most is always connected to a real reason. Not a credential, but a reason. The client who finally has words for something they have been trying to explain for 10 years. The person who walks into a session feeling small and walks out finally clear on what makes them different. The house a neighborhood thought nobody would save. That's the work that sticks. That's the work people tell someone about later. That's the work that gets repeated at dinner. That is the work that gets shared with a friend. And if your brand is missing that right now, it does not mean you need more buzzwords. It does not mean you need a fancier bio. It means you probably have not named your reason yet. And that's one of the reasons I built findyouronly.app. That's findyouronly.app, because the only is usually not hiding in your credential list, but it's hiding in your day two stories. The moment that changed you, the moment that made the work real, the moments that revealed what this is actually about for you. So if you are experienced, credible, and still struggling to explain what makes you different in a way people can feel, start at findyouronly.app. You got to go on your computer or phone or findyouronly.app. It will work everywhere. It's going to ask you 8 questions. By the way, all of this is free. Ask you 8 questions. It's going to take you about 8 minutes. See what I did there? And it's built to help you turn the moment that gave your work meaning into the message that makes your brand unforgettable. I don't want you to bring your resume. I want you to bring your day 2 stories. That is where the only usually lives. So go to findyouronly.app, 8 questions in under 8 minutes, all free. Do it now. Be the only. Be the $2 bill.